I am Marc Oliva. I am from the University of Lisbon. I'm doing my postdoc fellowship funded by AXA there. And well, basically my project is focused in Antarctica, in the northern part of the peninsula Antarctica. And what we are basically doing is trying to understand how the climate has been in the past, not just today, but what we do is we try to collect sediments from the bottom of the lakes, and then by studying the properties of these sediments, what we can infer is the past climate conditions in this area of Antarctica. We don't know what's happening now in Antarctica. In the western Antarctica, the temperature has been warming up at a high rate during the last decades, but not in the eastern Antarctica. So what we need is to create a network of points, of sites, to understand what happened in the past. We are not able to know if this is caused by the human activity or this is natural, because the series of climate data in Antarctica are relatively short. We only have 30 years of, or at least between 30 and 50 years of data, collecting data, instrumental data. So we need to infer, we need the help of other proxies that are called, and that's why we are focusing on lake sediments, because they can provide information about the last 8 to 10,000 years. So that the idea is that knowing what's happening today, we can frame it with the natural climate variability. The thing is that my AXA fellowship is also framed within a project, in a Portuguese project that I am also coordinating, and the idea is to give further information to the policymakers of what's really happening in Antarctica, because there's a lack of information on this fact. We know many things about the penguins or whales and biological issues, but we don't know much about what's happening in the fringe between the ice and the ocean. There's a small fringe of land which is ice-free, and this is not very well understood. So the idea of this project is to try to understand what has happened in this specific part during the last millennia. So we will provide information to SCAR and to the people working in Antarctica, just to provide more evidences, more data on the recent past evolution in this continent. We are starting a collaboration, and Emma, who is working with volcanic ashes. One of the things that we find in Antarctica on the lake sediments, when we collect these sediments, is we see different layers of volcanic ash, of tephras, and by studying these layers, it's a good chronological marker, because when we have to invest a lot of money for doing our chronological models, knowing the age of a specific sample, it requires a lot of money. So the idea that what we will do with Emma is she's a specialist on volcanic ashes, so I will send samples, she will analyze the samples. So if we find always the same material, we don't need to invest all this money to date all these layers. By dating one, we will be able to know the age of the others. Well, I think that, and from my perspective, it's nice, no? From my point of view, it's interesting what AXA is doing, in the sense that AXA is investing a lot of money for climate change or for understanding climate variability, which is good. Yeah, I think that I have learned during these 2 days, I have learned how to express. I'm not shy, so I mean, I have to teach at the university, and I'm used to give lectures about Antarctica. I usually give 2 or 3 per month, so I know how to communicate, but never it's enough. I would say that it's quite a complete workshop with many things, and you have to be quick. You have to be clever. I think that all my colleagues, I would not speak about myself, but all my colleagues, I was impressed by the level they have. They are really quick, clever, and it's one of the things that AXA should be more proud of.